What is Gucci YouTube? It's your boy Black Uchiha 3, long face, skinny body. We are back, still black, with some more fire Boruto manga content. Now, before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, smash the like button, share the video with your friends. We got a lot to discuss today. Yes, sir. Ski. Let's hop into the business.
9 mountains and 8 seas make one world. 1,000 worlds make one chiliocosm. 1 chiliocosm to the power of 3, and there's nothing I can't cut.
Okay, so this video is a little bit, I guess you could call it like a piggyback off of my previous Kawaki video in terms of Kawaki's path moving forward after the events of chapter 79. Now, this one, right, is more so from Boruto's perspective, but under the pretext of how long will this omnipotence jutsu actually last, i.e., how long will everyone continue to hate Boruto, thinking that he is essentially Kawaki and vice versa, of Kawaki being Boruto. So there's a couple of things we need to look at in terms of actually how long this current predicament that Boruto has now found himself in will actually take place, right? So just looking at it from the start of things, will Boruto have help from other people? Now, I want to say other people, essentially I want to say from more than Sara, right? Because we already seen, based off of the events of the last chapter, Sara is not only immune to Ada's enchantment love ability, but she's also immune to the omnipotence, which that ability originally derives from. So there's a whole lot of interesting things between Sara and just her character in general in terms of how it's expected for her to be written or played out in these current events. Will Boruto have help from more than Sara? Now, we looked at figures like Sasuke, we looked at other figures possibly like Toneri, possibly even like Kasha Koji in terms of training Boruto, finding different ways for Boruto to unlock his Jogan, or just opening up another path, because right now Boruto is at a dead end. He's at a wall, right? Even with the events that already occurred, with him becoming fully Otsutsuki, him being able to master Momoshiki's power to his knowledge better than what he was able to do previously, there's still something that's holding Boruto back. And on top of that, there's still something that Boruto needs to add, whether it being to his arsenal, whether it be to his character, whether it be to his to the way that he's processing all of the information, his mindset going forward. There's a lot of things that Boruto needs to sit back honestly and just reflect on. If I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all, that's really how I feel with it. So will Boruto have help from more than Sara? And the answer is likely yes, but I feel like it's gonna be a real tight-knit group, right? It's not gonna be anything too crazy, because then it's gonna take away from the dramatic effects that occurred last chapter. Not only is going to take away from that, but then it's really fun to be corny. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. If it's just like, honestly, they should have just turned it into a civil war on some Iron Man versus Captain America vibes, because then it would just be Boruto versus Kawaki. Who support Kawaki? Who support Boruto? Boom, battle it out, right? So it's not going to be anything to that type of degree or to that measure, but I feel like Boruto might have probably like 1, 2, max no more than 4 people on his side while he's facing the entire world, essentially everybody thinking he's one of the most notable and most wanted rogue shinobis out there currently to this point, with the death of Naruto being placed on his hands. So just a small select few, quality over quantity in terms of that nature whenever we're looking at it and from that regard. So just aside from Sara, who do we believe that can help Boruto, right? That can essentially turn the situation around or benefit Boruto, rather than just saying, oh, like it's just on some fan service, like I want to see Boruto team up with Shinki in this type of situation, even though I really rocks with Shinki, but like, what is Shinki finna do? You feel me? So let's just keep it 100 and be real, right? So aside from Sara, who can I honestly see helping Boruto out? Of course, the big dog. I talked about in my last video, my guy Sasuke, and the reasons are still gonna stand, and I'm not gonna just quote over the things I went over in my previous video, but Sasuke is very big brain, he's very intellect, and I feel like he's gonna be a very key part in terms of playing the backseat, trying to figure out the ins and outs of the things that are actually going down and how to possibly undo the things that Ada and Kawaki have both done. It's going to be a possibility in terms of everyone else, or the others aside from Sara, even looking at, someone like Sumire helping Boruto, but then we're going to have to look at who is not affected, right? So with Sumire, we talked about previously, shortly, briefly, however you want to frame it, but we shortly mentioned how Sumire and her connection to New Way automatically ties to the gateways and the dimension doorways for the Otsutsuki clan, and how having that, I believe it's a Tomo or Gomo or some type of seal on her hand, on her palm, or on the backside of her hand, she has the seal essentially where Nue's dimension is kept, and we understand Nue's dimension is the connection with the Otsutsuki clan, and we also understand that the Jogan was the key in order to open Nue's dimensions. So just looking at it from that surface level, without even going too much further into the detail, it's just so many dots to connect in terms of Sumire, Otsutsuki, Nue, Jogan, Boruto, and everything that has just been going on. It's real justifiable to understand it's a highly likely possibility that Sumire will be immune to this omnipotence jutsu that is also going, and it's also going to possibly be the reason why she was also, along with Sara, immune to the love enchantment ability by Ada as well. Now with Sumire and both Sara, I feel like there's going to be a distinct difference between the two. I know everybody want to be in the fandom, oh, they both have feelings for Otsutsuki and Boruto, and that's possibly why I'm not a fan of that theory, never going to support that theory, because it's just so bland and boring, right? And plus them niggas is 12. But with Sumire, it's going to be some type of specific reason, and it's just all of the keys points directly towards why she wouldn't be affected. Now, how could she possibly help or support Boruto currently in this predicament? There's going to be a lot of things to think about in terms of what other secrets or what other things that are waiting to be revealed behind Nue, behind his connection to the Otsutsuki clan, and ultimately tying into Boruto's Jogan with the last episode of Boruto Part 1, episode 293 ending. We know Boruto's Jogan is officially canon, even though it's already been canon, but now the haters know for sure, like, that Jogan is actually canon, like, for real, for real. We saw Boruto activated at the end of the episode, along with Kawaki activating his dojutsu, so it's gonna be Boruto learning to master that dojutsu at one point in time in his story, in terms of the anime showing it that early and showing it with his intention of clearly cutting on the Jogan. I don't know why they would do that when we've never seen Boruto actively use the Jogan. It's always been able to, you know, come on and off at its own will. So it's gonna be interesting to see possibly how Sumire and Nue somehow tie into Boruto's Jogan awakening, or tie into Boruto, you know, activating or tapping into a special power that we have yet to see be revealed from the Jogan, that will ultimately result in the undoing of this current jutsu, or find some type of gateway or pathway that wasn't available to us currently right now, that ultimately opens up the door for Boruto to fix the things that are going down right now. So I believe Sumire is going to have to be the key somehow, some way, some shape, or some form for Boruto's Jogan ultimately awakening. Either it's going to be something with Nue and Sumire, or Boruto dying again and having to come back to life with the Jogan's power or the Jogan's awakening. One of those two ideas is definitely going to play into the fact and play into key. So once we know for sure next chapter if Sumire is completely immune, just like Sara is to these omnipotence, then we're going to be able to understand their decisions making going forward and how they decide to pursue the current situation at hand. We know that both Sumire and Sara were tasked with similar assignments in terms of taking down Ada, so it's going to be interesting to see how they process everything and how they decide to go about it in the open, with Sara already showing Mitsuki that she's confused versus Mitsuki understanding the clear goal, which is to capture or kill Boruto. So it's going to be real interesting to see how Sumire will be able to, you know, maneuver her way around this. But not only that, how will they be able to help Boruto, and do they really want to plan for long term in terms of Boruto going away and just settling down and just focus on getting things together, or do they really want to actively search for a solution to the problem? And just based off of the events of the time skip in that first episode, it looks like Boruto is going to settle for just survival at this point and fixing the actual problem much later down the line. So a few years in this current predicament is going to be pretty mind-boggling to me, right? All of the crazy events that have been going down over the past chapter has taken away, but in a good way, but it's taken away from the idea and the fact that Naruto has been taken out of this story for almost, you know, I think going on 90 days now at this current point. So it's really going to be interesting to see how much more this story is going to develop with essentially the main character, even though the show is Boruto, the main character of the franchise, you know, and being my guy Naruto, how this story is really going to go forward and be pushed forward without him being present. And honestly, Boruto not being able to save Naruto until the time skip is going to be pretty mind-boggling, not just in terms of the greatness of the story being portrayed, but from Naruto's perspective once he becomes free, right? How is he going to be able to intake all of this information, intake all of the deeds and actions that Kawaki has undergone, and all of the endeavors and obstacles that his son Boruto had to overcome as well, right? How is Naruto going to be able to process everything? But in terms of that, before we even start worrying about how Naruto is going to be able to process everything, how is Boruto going to be able to fix this current situation? So it's definitely going to lie into, right, whoever he decides to team up with, and that's going to ultimately factor into how long this jutsu will last, because the more help, the better. Two heads are better than one. Simple math, just as that. It's just a matter of who's going to be the key figures in undoing the jutsu that Ada did, if it's not going to be the case of Ada undoing the jutsu herself rather than the jutsu being broken, or who's going to be the key figure in breaking themselves out the jutsu, figures like Sasuke, you know, other smart or intellectual figures like Shikamaru or even Kakashi, and then playing the Batman role or playing the back seat in terms of trying to figure out things underground or behind the scenes, ultimately to help Boruto and to come to light in terms of bringing everything back to reality and everyone's memories going back. I personally feel like the Jogan will be the best thing for this, and that's why Sumire and Nue is going to be so key and essential to this fact. So Boruto is going to have to take the next few years in mastering this eye, but come to the understanding that it's going to be some type of major ocular dojutsu power in order to reverse this major ocular dojutsu power that's going down right now. Some type of disruption with the chakra or some type of manifestation or manipulation is going to have to occur within the human body and the chakra network system. And the mere fact that the Jogan, right, is able to not only see the chakra pathway similar to the Byakugan, but also see the weakest point to have the most effective strike and the effective outcome is going to be pretty interesting to see how they connect all of these facilities of the eye in terms of figuring out a way to restore everyone's chakra back to normal so their memories cannot be altered, is similar how they are right now, thinking that Boruto is Kawaki and Kawaki is Boruto. So this is going to be played out for a real long time. I feel like they're setting this up to be type of a long game or an end game type of solution, end game type of problem. So right now, Boruto's main goal is going to be gathering allies and survival. And then building off of that, then we're going to be able to assess properly how long it'll take for Boruto to tackle the situation head on and be able to solve the issue. If we're going to be real, I believe in Boruto's time, in Boruto's world, it's going to be at least a year with everybody thinking that Boruto is Kawaki and Kawaki is Boruto. But let me know your thoughts below on how y'all feel like Boruto will be moving forward, just based off of his perspective in story. It's your boy, Black Uchiha 3. Comment in the section below. Share the video with your friends. Holla at your boy, and I'm going to holla at y'all. Black Uchiha out. Yes, sir. Ski!
We take a trip to the sky, show them that our limits too high.
Cocoa butter hips on the wrist.